This is Zafu from Raid Leader Exchange. In this video we're looking at the test of heroic Lihuvim in Sepulcher of the First Ones. This boss is like King Garoth in Antorus the Burning Throne, in that it forces the raid to make decisions about what to kill in the intermission, which changes the course of the fight. The difference is that Lihuvim is far more musical. Raid Leader Exchange is an open Discord server for raiders to discuss bosses in detail. It's full of great resources for each fight, both in testing and on live, as well as tips for raid leadership, role-specific information, and other useful stuff. If you haven't joined us, feel free to do so using the link in the description. Lihuvim is a two-phase encounter, with the raid facing the boss in the center initially, then the 4 constructs that spawn at the sides of the room. There are 4 different types of constructs that can constitute a phase 2, and each phase 2 will force the raid to deal with a different combination, some more difficult than others. Before we get into the mechanics, you'll notice that the room here is large. If there's one thing we know about large rooms, is that the encounters within them are designed to fill up the space as quickly as they can, and Lihuvim is no exception to that. Unstable motes spawn at the location of several random players frequently throughout the fight, after a short debuff. These motes are small golden stars that, if touched, detonate into very large void zones. These zones persist for the entire encounter and deal very high cosmic damage to anyone stood in them. It is vital, therefore, that the raid detonates as few of these as possible to preserve space. The fight includes several knockback mechanics that make this more difficult. Tanks will be dealing with Deconstructing Blast, a heavy damage attack that increases physical damage taken by 200% for 12 seconds, forcing a taunt swap. The blast also clears any undetonated motes within 8 yards of impact. Tanks will also be attacked with Protoform Cascade, a small frontal cone that deals massive damage and clears undetonated motes as well. Since both abilities are cast frequently, tanks will be primarily responsible for clearing up the mess left behind by the raid. Deconstructing Energy targets random non-tank players and debuffs them with a nasty dot for 6 seconds. Upon expiry, the energy explodes, damaging others nearby and clearing any undetonated motes hit by it. Using the 2 tank abilities and the Deconstructing Energy, a coordinated raid can easily keep on top of the motes. Notice that all abilities only affect undetonated motes. If a mote has become a void zone, it cannot be cleared by any means and will persist for the entire encounter. The boss also periodically casts Cosmic Shift during phase 1, dealing damage to all players and knocking them back. At 100 energy, the boss will fly into the middle of the room and phase 2 will begin. The 4 constructs at the side of the room will become attackable, and the raid must move into a small circle beside one of them to avoid taking deadly ticking damage as the boss activates. Each phase 2 will present you with a different combination of these adds, but there are 4 types that can spawn altogether. The Defense Automa is a large add that, when active, drops a shield that reduces the damage all other constructs take while they're standing within it, including the boss. Degeneration Automa spawn a group of adds which fixate players with a beam, dealing very high damage and possibly spawning a mote upon the completion of this channel. These can be grouped up, stunned, and killed. On PTR, once this beam was interrupted, it was not recast. Guardian Automa are a relatively minor threat that simply spawn sentries that target players and deal damage. The Acquisitions Automa fixate players in the room moving towards them quickly. When they die, the Acquisition Automa detonate, knocking back all players within 40 yards. This knockback is incredibly powerful, and can be very dangerous if other Automa or the boss are active. You can kite the ad more than 40 yards away, stun it, and then kill it to avoid impact to the group. During testing, there did appear to be a set order to the spawns, meaning each pull was consistent and could be strategized. When the intermission starts, the raid have a few seconds to choose what they're going to kill before it becomes active, meaning that you can eliminate 1 or even 2 of the constructs before you have to deal with their abilities. We chose to eliminate just 1 on our pulls, but other groups were able to kill 2 with a coordinated split and use of cooldowns. What you choose to eliminate will ultimately be up to you and the strengths of your group. Undoubtedly, a meta strategy will emerge when the tuning is complete. The fight simply repeats this 2-phase cycle, with each construct phase presenting you with a new combination of adds. That's all for this preview. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.